All right, grasshoppers. We were by ourselves again. Kevin Allen, actually, I shouldn't laugh about it. Kevin had a friend who passed away, so he couldn't do the show today. So, all our best wishes up to him and his friend and their family. We'll wait for a few people to get on here. One of those shows where you guys can ask me a bunch of questions. So, we were in, so I can't remember. We did a show since, we've done lots of shows since I was in Nashville. That was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys are Nashville fans or not, but like country music, which I like. I'm not a huge fan of live music, but just talk about Nashville here. All right, we get some people on the show here. How's everybody doing? Wednesday morning. Again, Kevin Allen is not on the show. He had a friend of his who passed away. He just messaged me today. Minzy, how are you doing, you magical creature? Yesterday we did a couple of shows. We're going to start doing an actual podcast now, just the audio version that we'll put like on Apple, all those kind of places where regular podcasts go. So it's going to be a show. Lorraine, how you doing, Lorraine? So the show we're going to do with the podcast, we did two shows yesterday. We taped one with Dave Maloney and one with Randy Velichek, the former New Jersey Devil. And that show's going to be more about talking about guys in their careers and what they've done after their career. And again, that's going to be a regular podcast that isn't done live. It's just going to be taped, it's going to be an audio version. Susan Brooks, how are you doing, you magical creature, you? Goodness gracious. Tomorrow morning, Ron Greshner and I are in Edison, New Jersey at some Verizon store. I'll find out the details on that and post it, but I think at 8 o'clock in the morning early. So I won't be doing the early show with Rich Cabrudi tomorrow either because we'll be gone. I haven't seen Ron Greshner in a long time. He's my neighbor. We haven't been hanging out. So everybody's doing well. Susan, the Rangers, so in Nashville, I know everybody follows Rangers shit, but Susan's so they really, I thought they played okay. They outshot Nashville like 2-1 shots. But the goaltender for Nashville played fantastic. Halak was in net for Rangers and did fine. But I didn't think they had a whole lot of jump. You know, they'd had that big game where they scored 8 goals in Detroit there before. So had amazing time up in Marquette, Michigan too. Since I started all this motivational speaking, obviously it's been a journey. Like, you know, when you grew up in Canada playing hockey, you really taught to be kind of humble. I know that's hard to believe coming from me. But especially when you're up talking. But when you're doing motivational speaking, you really have to, you know, grab people's attention. I did 2 presentations. One was with a alternative high school. So these young kids have been through a lot of stuff and really looking for guidance. And that really went well. The response after has been great. This one young girl's fantastic. It helped her a lot. She came to a dinner that we had. She was asking a lot of questions about how to deal with her issues. And so she wrote on her site that I was her hero, which was very rewarding, you know, that some young person like that. Again, these kids have been through a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. So that was exciting. And then at night, that same day, we did the presentation at Northern Michigan University. And that was one of the best. I felt really good about that presentation. I was up there for an hour by myself, made presentations in front of like 500 student athletes. Really went well. The response was great. A few people have contacted me on LinkedIn and everything about staying in touch. So I felt really comfortable that those presentations went well. So that was a lot of fun. And then the Nashville trip was cool too. I'd been in Nashville years ago, but never really toured around the city. I think it was when I was in the agent business. I just went in for a game and then left. But that was a lot of fun going to Nashville. Again, I'm not a live music guy, which is a big thing there. It's one of those places I think like it's all the bachelorette parties and everything now. Tons of drinking, man. They drink that, and all like first thing in the morning too. They're up and going. They got all those like buses and everything that are open. They open up the buses and you sit inside there. They're drinking, get the music blaring. It's like they got everything. They had a fire engine that they converted into like a traveling bar. Music going a little bit, so it was a lot of fun. Come on, we got no questions here. Or are you just gonna let me ramble? I can ramble. You know that. We won't go too long today unless people start asking questions here. I'm trying to think what's going on. I told you we're going, Ron Greshner and I are going to Edison, New Jersey tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's Edison, New Jersey too, Verizon store. We got a good trip coming up. The Guatemala trip, still trying to get that nailed down too. I'm going to Guatemala with that group that did came and did the show there for me, with me, and I should say. So we'll get that trip done. And then we got a trip to Dallas as well. The Dallas Stars invited the Dallas Stars alumni invited the Ranger alumni to go play a game there. It's like a whole weekend long thing, so it's going to be fun as well. That's sometime, I think it's January 8th, I think that is. So anybody in the Dallas area, we'll get together. That's about it. Trying to think what else happened. Um, how about our Devils? They won like 10 in a row. Um, Susan, usually like you get a ton of questions or comments. You're quiet today, all by myself. Lorraine, how are you doing? Missy, good to see you guys. Who else is on here? It's 7 people on here. Again, people are just joining. Kevin Allen couldn't make the show. He lost a friend of his. So he just sent me a quick text, so I don't know all the details. Okay. You should do some kind of clinic with that. Just that would be fun. You know what? That's I have told you this. This young girl and her father. They go to the beach every morning, and I'm there. And I think she's autistic because she can't speak, and she's probably late 20s. It looks like, and we've got to be friends. So he'll go looking for me on the beach, driving around, and it's fantastic. I probably get more out of it than you, but I give her the big, like yell her name. Rhonda's her name. And she can't communicate. So when she gets really excited, she just screams, and it's hilarious because the father just, it's his daughter, right? And he obviously is a fantastic father. Spent a lot of time with her. So to see her enjoying herself, I think is really important to him. So we got put a little relationship going on. But I said, I hope I help her sometimes. But I got to tell you, I probably get more out of it than she does. So it's a lot of fun. Yes, when the book comes out, yeah. So I had a good conversation with the writer this past weekend, I think it was. So we just were, and again, I've been so fortunate because I keep doing things all the time, like going to Nashville, going to Marquette. So we're adding, I'm always learning new things. We're always adding to the book. So we got to get this thing done. So yes, so we will be doing signings. It'll be on sale on Amazon. We're going to self-produce. Yeah, self-produce. Let me see here. This David guy's a great guy. You're a great ranger and a super great guy when we meet and get on about the game. Always remember your cowboy. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. First of all, yeah, it was interesting being in Nashville, right? Because that's people wearing cowboy hats. It brought back the memories for me when I first came to New York, and I'd have the cowboy boots and cowboy hats on. I got a new pair of Rangers bought us. Everybody on the trip got us a new pair of boots, so I got a nice pair of ostrich boots. So, okay, I'm sure she's the joy of life. The great thing is, it seems the families that have autistic children or something like that, really, it ends up being more of a gift to them. Like it seems like that with this gentleman I know from the beach and his daughter Rhonda. You just tell that she's the joy of his life, the love of his life. He just dotes on her. So it's a gift. I know I'm sure you'd rather your daughter not be autistic, but yeah. Susan's picking on me here. Have you seen the Rangers win when you're gone on a road trip? Yes. We won. We went to the Pittsburgh series, Pittsburgh last year in playoffs, and won that game. Late in the game with a goaltender, had that other goaltender, like their third string goaltender, and he let that long shot in. I think it was Kreider took that long shot. So yes, Susan, I know where you're going with that. I'm trying to say that I'm the jinx. Yes. We're going to Carolina. Lost that game. Lost the game in Nashville. When we were last year I was in Arizona. I think we won that game in Arizona last year. So don't be starting trouble, Susan. Yeah, I'm not a jinx. You just got to play better. What else is going on? David Dean, I think that's the first time we've had you on the show. Nice to meet you. I don't recall seeing you ask a question before, Mick. Where is my daughter walks in the room when I'm watching the game and says, "Yeah, Rangers." Boo the other guys. That's cute. That's very cute. That's excellent. That's excellent. She knows that. Good job. Good job. So Thanksgiving's coming up. My oldest one is married. My youngest one has got his girlfriend, and they've been very sweet to the girls. Like this, again, being around here, we've always had Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner here at my place. But the last couple of years, they've, it's nice too. They go to where the girls' family is. So, but this year we'll all be together. Shane with his wife Leah, and Cody with his girlfriend Val. We'll all have our Thanksgiving dinner here. It's a family tradition. I've done the same thing every year. And also the dog will be here too. Maverick, Shane and Leah's dog will be here. Dog's very cute. It's like my grandson. Like he can do anything. He comes to the house, he gets excited when he sees me, so he pees on my foot. But because it's my grandson. He can do whatever he wants to do. All right, so the menu on Thanksgiving, it has to be the same. So one time I went and bought a pie, which is not allowable. My boys yelled at me that I have to make the pies. So we'll have chips and dip. We do the whole diet kind of, it takes a little bit of a hit on Thanksgiving. But so chips and dip, you have to get the Ruffles chips, and we do this Lipton onion soup mix and sour cream. Have you ever done that? Oh, terrible for you, but I was going to be heated, Danny. Yes, Danny, the heat we on. I have to turn on because the girls, poor girls, they come over sometimes. They've got their jackets on. It's kind of funny they come in. So we'll heat the house, yes. So I'll have the smell of the turkey going too. Oh, I love that. So Ruffles chips and that sour cream with the Lipton onion soup mix. Shrimp cocktails with cocktail sauce. Vegetables. I'll make my own hummus. So we have vegetables you dip in. I think that's it for maybe we have to do some cheese and that too, cheese and crackers. So there's quite a bit it's a whole day of eating. Jessica, and this is the 1 or 2 days of the year, Christmas and Thanksgiving, where the healthy snacks and everything kind of go out the window. Again, there's the hummus with crackers. With the carrots and cucumbers and that kind of stuff, celery sticks. But then, but I guess my gravy's not too bad. So when I do the turkey, I put all kinds of vegetables in the bottom of the pan. Carrots, onions, garlic, peppers, all kinds of stuff. So that cooks down. It's all roasted and everything. So I take that, I put it in a blender. That turns into put it back in the pan. It's my gravy. Season up the way you want, but it's pretty flavorful because it's got all those vegetables in there. So then, so you have the turkey, homemade stuffing. We stuff the turkey. I think a lot of people now don't stuff the turkey anymore. We stuff the turkey. And mashed, so it's mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, and turkey. No greens. But the girls, because they're coming over, maybe sometime we're making like a bean salad or whatever. But it's kind of like a man's Thanksgiving, right? So that'll be the same menu exactly for Christmas too. That's the history. And then we make a raspberry pie and an apple pie, homemade. Yes. And again, I have to make it homemade or they yell at me. So, yes, you do have to wear adjustable pants. Now, and then I don't want to give the wrong impression, because we're very respectful to the women in my life. So, but my daughter-in-law and my son's girlfriend are very part of the family, so they're all used to being around. So, men, once they've had a few cocktails and eaten a lot, you have a little gas, right? So, poor girls have to suffer through that. Let me see. Yeah. Our family were season ticket holders, and my sister and I were just little kids. You always kind of. I got to find the old pictures. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, David. You know what? I think most hockey players are like that. That they really put a lot of thought and effort into the fans, because we remember we were kids. Going meeting. I remember meeting Bobby Hull. My father took me to see him, and he treated us just incredible. So I think that's kind of the history of the league. That we were treated great by the players before us. We just kind of pass that down. It means a lot to guys that that people like that you say that to us years later, David. That and again, thank you for the compliment. But it's it means a lot to us when we hear years later about hopefully being nice to particularly kids, but everybody. So no, I think what, I'll probably get the cranberry sauce because I think the girls like it. I'll check on that one. But typically we do not have cranberry sauce. It's the turkey and stuffing and gravy. Oh man, we've got the gravy down now too. Oh. They roast up all those vegetables in the pan there for hours at the bottom of the turkey and get the drippings from the turkey on there. Well, my God. I don't base my turkey or anything. I put it in, cook it, and then when it's got the thing that pops out and it knows it's done, or I put the meat thermometer in there when it gets to 165 degrees, I guess, for turkey. Yeah. Then it's done. So it's juicy all the time. I've never understood people basing it, but I know a lot of people do. I have learned, I know I've told the story several times, I've learned to thaw the turkey out before I put it in, get the giblets out and everything. So again, I put the giblets and everything right in the bottom of the pan too, so let get all the flavors from that while it's cooking. Oh, the gravy. Oh, the smell of it too. But the problem is too, like you get so hungry. When you're cooking too, you're always picking at it a little bit, but then you can't get the first plate in. I should invite Pepper over as well. Well, Maverick's going to be here. Shane and Leah's dog, my grandson. Saw Pepper and his father out there today, just the two of us. A little bit of an awkward moment. Some animosity. It's their fault, not mine. But we survived it. Let me see. If I told my daughter that you played for the Rangers, she might have a nasty response like, hey, this guy's an old man. Danny, I was just saying all these nice things about you, and then you're dragging your poor daughter into it too. That's just not right. Danny, we got to get that meeting, the rendezvous with your wife and I to settle things and see she can see what a wonderful human being I am. I can't believe she's got the terrible opinion of me. I don't know how she would ever believe that I'm arrogant or full of myself. Can't believe it. I can't believe it at all. So, like I mentioned before, yesterday we're doing a new podcast. It's going to be just like a regular podcast. I guess these aren't really podcasts, the shows we do here. So it's a regular podcast, just going to be the audio version. We taped 2 shows yesterday, one with Randy Valashek and one with Dave Maloney. So in these shows, again, they're going to go on Apple and all those places where podcasts go. We'll show one. We're probably going to try to tape 4 a week, but we'll only have one show a week that we broadcast. And it's going to be all about, it won't be just hockey players, it'll be mostly athletes, about their careers and what they've done since their career. Both guys are great. The setting is different. Usually I've done shows where, hockey guys on, we do that show in the box. So this is just more of a one-on-one. What am I doing? I didn't have my mic. Well, that's silly. Silly bitty. You guys been hearing me all right? Okay. I was talking without the mic. Shows what a big mouth I've got. Hold on. What am I doing? Jesus. I forgot to put my headphones on him. Oh, I got this new equipment and I forgot to use it. Yes. Bring one. Is Mel coming for dinner? We don't know. See, here's the problem. I would love to invite Mel, and then he'd say yes, but then not show up. Right? Were you guys hearing me okay there before? Well, I can't believe I did that. Not used to using this equipment all the time. So again, this new podcast, I'm really looking forward to it. It's I've got this new friend of mine I met at one of these clinics in New Jersey. Is Tom Smith. Yes, that is his real name. He had worked for Nickelodeon, Howard Stern, very creative guy. And he's the producer for these podcasts now. So he's actually he sits in on the show, and once in a while we'll jump in and ask questions. He did that with Howard Stern for many years. Very creative guy. In fact, we've got some different projects going on. He's going in to meet with the NHL next week about some other projects we have as well. So things are going well. No, so I don't think we'll invite Mel for dinner because it's one of those things, we'll set the table and everything for him. Although we're pretty casual here. So we put I've got my homemade bar. I've got my kitchen, put all the food out on top of the bar there, and everybody just grabs their plate because football's on too. So we're watching football and eating a lot. Maybe take a nap, get up and eat some more. We're not big on we used to be big on get the piece of bread and put turkey on it and gravy and that, but we just go back for seconds. But the pies too. Oh, the apple pie and raspberry pie. Oh my Lord. Let me see. Come out. I don't know. They keep picking on me. Well, you can't go back and forth picking on me. Come out to Long Island for the meet and greet. We can take you out to your favorite local pizza place where you get something healthy. Oh, Danny. Yeah, I tell you, oh man, the whole smell of the turkey and everything. I've always wanted to try maybe like that deep fry, but I miss the smell of the turkey in the house. That's the one thing I miss. Oh, that smells good. Oh man. So I get the turkey in usually pretty early, like 8, 9 in the morning, something like that. Usually get around a 22-pound turkey. Oh, Lord. Oh. So by the time we're done, there's still leftovers for a couple of days. And I'll make some turkey soup. Oh my God. Oh. So, Elaine, you like the smell of the turkey too? Oh, yes. The whole house smells. Oh my God. So it'll be the first time Maverick, the new puppy dog, will be over. So he's going to be going nuts with the smell of the turkey as well. Pretty well-behaved dog. Peas on my foot. So cute. Did I watch the CFL as a kid? Yes, I did. Yep. But I watched the NFL too. My father was a big Green Bay Packer fan, so I had to go against him. I was a Dallas Cowboy fan until I got here to New York, playing for the Rangers. I thought, I really can't be a Dallas Cowboy fan when I'm playing for the Rangers here in New York. So I had to scrap that idea and start cheering for the Giants, and have ever since. I was a huge Eli Manning fan. Although he can be frustrating sometimes. He's a great player. Obviously won the Super Bowls, but he had some games. It's like, come on, Eli, wake up a little bit. I like the guy they've got there now. It's awful. Danny. How can I not remember his name? I like him too. James Longo. He worked in the Hall of Fame Club. Oh, very cool. Very cool. James, good to see you. James Longo. Are you any relation to any of the Longos up here in Greenwich, Connecticut? This one guy, Mark Luongo. If you look him up on TikTok, he's got the pet squirrel. I coached him. He's the same age as my oldest son. Great kid. Was a great kid to coach. And he's working for some company in the city, something to do with construction. I think it was like piping that goes in the buildings, whatever. But he got this pet squirrel probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's pet squirrel. He takes it to the vet and everything. He does tricks. He's got all kinds of videos he shows. So he's got like 2 million followers, close to 2 million followers on TikTok. He then went over to. I don't think he might be telling. It's not like it's private, but he went over into that OnlyFans thing. Now, I don't think he's doing any nude stuff, but he's really well built kid, and he does things. People will pay him to do things like put on a squirrel suit and go to the gym. So he made $150,000 in his first month on OnlyFans. So whatever he's doing, it's not bad. Let me see. What would New Year's Eve be like What would New Year's Eve be like? I played a game that night. You know what? For us, it didn't seem like it was a whole lot different. We typically would have, if we played that night, we'd have some kind of a party or something after. That would be the only difference, really. But as far as that, the game, the feel for it, like whether the fans were, I don't really recall it being altogether different. I can't remember how many times we actually played on New Year's Eve, but again, I don't recall it being anything different at all. Let me see. No relation, okay? My brother and I worked at MSU. We were always a true reach. Oh, thank you. People are being nice to me today. I know what's going on. Everybody except for Danny Erickson picking on me. Let me see here. Remember, she used to coach Lester Patrick. Oh, Danny, I don't know what I did. See, you start off, this is the thing too. The pattern is with you, you start off being nice to me. And then for whatever reason, you turn on me. I think maybe your wife comes in and I know what it is. I know it. So you really want to be nice to me. Your wife doesn't like me. She thinks I'm arrogant. So when she comes in the room, you feel like you have to pour on like all the picking on me stuff to make it. She's going to go, that's the way, Danny. Danny, my sweetie. That's the way, Danny, sweetie. Danny, sweetie, pick on Tommy. Good morning, Tom. Eddie, any heat? Oh, I think she's going to say heat. You think? That's probably what it is. Any heat? Yes, I've got the heat on a little bit. Ira corrupted me. Actually, no kidding. No, it is. I think it is. You've got one of those marriages where your wife, which is fine. Everybody has their own. Obviously, I have twice divorced, so I shouldn't be talking about marriages. But you're getting one of these marriages where your wife tells you what to do, and dictates your life, and she wants you to be mean to me. So she comes in the room. So we'll probably know now from when she's not in the room. So when she's not in the room, you'll be nice to me. I get it. That's fine. We understand. Ira corrupted me. Yeah. Where is Ira? God's sakes. Hope he's not all right. I mean, I hope he's all right. Maybe he had a date last night. Hasn't got home yet for curfew. Ira. Some new people jumped on here today. James Longo, again, former MSG employee. I had a fun time. It must have been 3 or 4 months ago. They had me go in and was it 3 or 4 months ago? It was at the end of last season. Yeah. So it was the end of last season. They had me go in and do a day of a game and thank all the fans, all the people working at MSG. And that was a cool event. I thought people would be like, oh, God, get out of my way kind of thing. But they were really into it. It was a lot of fun doing that. They work hard. I mean, they put a lot of hours in, right? You don't realize they go in there early in the day, setting everything up, and they work, through the end of the game. So it's pretty cool. We went in the one lunchroom there, and they were having a blast. We had fun together, hooting and hollering, and they give you a standing ovation when I left. So that's pretty cool. Let me see. Susan Brooks. Rangers seem to come out flat in games after major pregame ceremonies. That is awful. Yeah, they're sitting around mainly because you've got a routine. So if it's a 7:08 game, you leave at the same time to go to when you're driving from Westchester, sometimes it's traffic or whatever, so you don't always get to the rink at the same time. But for me, I would leave at exactly the same time. Hopefully you get to the rink roughly at the same time. Start getting dressed and stretching and all that at a certain time. So you've got that routine, and it's kind of that process for you. So when you have those ceremonies, that ruins the routine. Typically, it's something that's worth it. It's either honoring a former player or whatever it was. So you're happy that you're part of it, but it does ruin your routine. No, she can only take less than 30 seconds of in the box. In the box, 30 seconds. Wait, seriously, we need to get her on the show. What's your wife's name, Danny? We're gonna get her on the show, discuss this. Just have her and I on the show to go back and forth, just to see where the problem started, what the problem exactly is, and to see if anything we can do about it. Or she's just gonna have to deal with it. She deals with you, Danny. So how come she's not like me? Dan, did she call you sweetie, or did she call you honey bun, like that? Never corrupted me. What are we? What? Oh, we're talking about Thanksgiving too. Oh man, I can't remember now. Let me start now. I can't wait for Thanksgiving. Once we start talking about that kind of stuff, it's like, oh man, that's my Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is probably my favorite. Probably my favorite holiday. Football's on, so we now change things too. Even on Christmas, we'll find out what day of the week Christmas is, and we'll move our dinner until the closest Sunday, so that we can have football on. Have fun. Football's eating turkey and watching football. Oh, maybe a couple of margaritas. Tina. Oh, she's Portuguese. Tina's hot-headed Portuguese. I get along well with Hispanic women. Wow, that's Tina. Tina, what do you call? Do you call her sweetie, honey, baby doll, and like that? Get little nicknames. Do you think that's like people that have been married for a long time, older people? Do you think it's right for them to call each other sweetie and honey and all that? I guess so, right? Whatever you want to do. Oh, Christmas is on Sunday this year. Oh, thank you, Jessica and Susan, very much, both of you. So that works out good. No changing the plans. And we typically just give each other a bottle of tequila. Tequila as well as our gifts. And we don't decorate. I've got a dancing Santa, which I think you guys have seen on the cooking show. So that dancing Santa is out already. And that's our decoration. Honey or the little woman? The little woman. That's cute. What does she call you then? I'm going to say if she's Hispanic heritage, it's more daddy or something like that. She's going, I shouldn't talk here. I am a single guy. I'm divorced twice, and I'm making fun of somebody else. She can call you whatever she wants to call you, Danny. Whatever you want. Just be nicer to me. Quit picking on me, for God's sakes. All right. Like we said, it was a fun day yesterday, too. Man, I've been having some fun little adventures lately. Again, the adventure to Marquette was fantastic. The great presentation of that alternative high school. These kids, I found out later, some of the stuff they've been through, just horrible stuff. Some of them. So they got, I've never really heard of that. Maybe that's something that's common around, but it's the kids have the option to not go to a regular school, regular high school. It's a smaller school, smaller classes. And again, these kids being through stuff. So that was a really kind of rewarding presentation to help try to make a difference in these kids' lives. And like I said, the response was great. This one girl was fantastic. She was reaching out for a lot of help and told me I was her hero. So that was pretty touching when she said that. When you get someone to help like that. And then the one at the Northern Michigan University, I'd spoken like about 500 student athletes. I was up there for an hour by myself. It went well. I was pretty happy with it. And then the question and answer after. So a lot of fun. That trip was good. The Dallas trip was, the Nashville trip was good. We got a trip to Dallas coming up in January. Going to Guatemala is it Guatemala? Yeah, Guatemala at some point. Is it Guatemala? Yeah. To do another one of those documentaries. So that'll be fun. Just calls me Danny. My son calls me old shit. That's not right. Oh, she just calls you Danny? But I bet she's really sweet too. Like, probably got that like little accent going on. She got an accent too? I like that Hispanic accent. Danny. Tina and Danny. Oh, here comes Tina and Danny. Are Tina and Danny coming over? Yeah. Old shit. He does not call you old shit. How old's your son, Danny? I don't think my kids don't think they. Yeah, it's just Tom. They do look at me like my kids are. I don't know what happened. They're really intelligent kids. Young men, I shouldn't call them kids. The oldest one is 32. Youngest one's 29. Man, it goes fast. I remember when I first got divorced, and they were like 4 and 6 years old. I didn't know how to cook anything. They'd have hamburger helper one night when they were with me and tuna noodle the next. Actually, it's pretty cool, though. We sat and watched all these cooking shows like Emerald, all that together. They're great cooks now. The youngest one lives in an apartment, so he's got barbecues downstairs in his apartment building. So my son and his wife got a house. They've got the smoker and everything, so a lot of cooking. Actually, my wife is actually of Azorean Portuguese descent. Wow, interesting. Descent like Nelly Furtado. Nelly's a singer, right? Nelly Furtado. Azorian Portuguese. Wow, interesting. I didn't know there's a difference. Thank you for that education there today. Learned something new. Azorian Portuguese. Wow, very cool. Um, yeah, my daughter is 34. Oh, okay. Very good, Lorraine. Well, you have when you're 10 years old. You're not. You don't look very old at all, right? I mean, that's a compliment to you. I hope it came out that way. Son's 18. Okay, well, he's an adult. Guess he can call you old shit if he wants. But he probably does it in a loving way, though, right? Like it's laughing and joking around together. Let me see what we got here. Yes, yeah, there you go. Young, 10 years old when you had a baby. I had mine. I had miracle sperm. I had my sons when I was like 9 years old. No, very proud of my sons, like everybody should be. Again, I'll be with the great Ron Greschner tomorrow morning. We're going. I think it's Edison, New Jersey. We're going to a Verizon store in Edison, New Jersey. But it's early. It's like 8 in the morning or something. I can find out more details about it. So obviously, if I was going by myself, I would drive. But because Ron is going, the Rangers get us a limo because Ron's going. Just me, I drive. I'd walk. They wouldn't care. Just tell me to get there. But when it's Ron, it's limo time. We'll be in the limo. Actually, they treat us great on this Nashville trip too. The Rangers really spoil us. They get the car, pick us up, take us to the airport. Food. LaGuardia is a fantastic place now too. I've flown out there a few times recently. They really cleaned that up. It's nice now. Much easier to get around. Let me see. Are you a better golfer than Melnick? Oh God, I am an awful golfer. I have no enjoyment for golf whatsoever. No time for it. Does nothing for me. I don't get it. I just don't get the joy in it. If somebody else loves it, that's fantastic because obviously a large part of the world does. So, but I just cannot get my hand around it. Never really have enjoyed it. I'm not very good at it. That's probably what it is too. Jill, you're in Edison, New Jersey. I expect to see. I'll find out the details. I expect to see you at the Verizon store tomorrow morning. I'll find out the details. Get that to you. Yep. I mean it. I'm serious. If you're not there, you're in serious trouble. I'll come looking for you. Did you hear that Tortorella got kicked in the face by one of his horses? I did not hear that. Oh, I did. First of all, I didn't know he had horses. I knew he was a big dog guy. I didn't know he had horses. Was this recently he got kicked in the face? That's not funny. Well, it is kind of funny. You texted my son for 16th birthday. I thanked you. Oh, okay. I remember that. Yeah, very cool. Now he's 18 years old. Wow. I posted a picture too. I was at an event out in Long Island over 5 years ago. Had my picture of this cute little boy. It was the first time he had his goalie equipment on. It's still posted. It's a great picture. His cute little face coming through the mask and everything. And then I went to did a thing in the same. I guess it was the same town at a rink. He came up to me and got his picture taken. I didn't realize that he actually was the same kid. It was like 5 years later. So we did like a before and after. I think it's pretty cool. It was very cool to see him after all those times. Now he's growing. There's a few times now recently I've had kids come up to me and say they met me like 5 years ago, whatever. So yeah. That's my friend Val from Brazil. Yes, she likes me. She's nice to me, not like Danny's wife. Hi, Val. Let me see. Well, sweetie, he was trying to hide it on TV. I said he has a gash on his. Oh, is that right? I don't know why I find that's humorous. I guess because it's a coach, and I like Tortorella too. I really do. I think he's some of the interviews after. I don't think is necessary, but I like when he gets. I mean, I would have liked him as a coach. He would like me as a player. I think because I was a mudhead too, just blocking shots and everything. No, it's not Thursday already. Dougie DeVito, you wonderful magical creature. No, Kevin Allen had a friend of his that passed away. He just sent me a text this morning, so he didn't get any details or anything. So it sounded like it was somebody close to him. So he was, I think, going to the funeral. He was tied up anyways, either way. So, little things go a long way. You talking about Mel's? Oh no, that's terrible. You like to, what is what a coach, right? It's like I guess it's something about being a coach. People that can care less get kicked in the face. It's funny. He's a family guy and everything. Sure, I'd like to see that happen too. That'd be funny. Watching it happen. Imagine if some of the players saw that happen, right? And maybe he just had yelled at somebody and they're all mad at him, and then he gets kicked in the face. The guy be standing like, good for you. All right. So again, Edison, New Jersey. I expect anybody that's in the area Jill, you in particular, okay? Now you've told me that you're in that area. You have to be there tomorrow morning. Okay, I'll find out the details, make sure time and everything. I'm sure there's more than one Verizon store in Edison, New Jersey, so I'll get you that information. Trying to figure out what else is interesting. I had a fun crew there. Fun crew in Nashville. So what they do is once in a while, I think like 2 or 3 times a year, as a reward to these people that are the season ticket holders that spend a ton of money, they have this like little trips put together. They alternate now, so if you haven't got invited, you probably will get invited at some point. But they bring people in, and they have an alumni member going with them. They have some fun. We had dinner the night before, really nice dinner. Then during the day, we had a couple of events. We had a food tour. It's freezing cold in Nashville too, so we're walking around outside. And the guy, obviously, he was really into his job. He kind of didn't recognize how cold it was. Some of the women were just freezing that were on the trip, but he had some interesting information. Kind of a little carried away, but some good food. Took us some barbecue places. Then had a meal before the game. Oh, and we went and bought cowboy boots in Nashville. Got a nice pair of ostrich skin boots. Ooh, man, ostrich skin. I had boots years ago, but I just hadn't bought them in years, and you got old, and so it was nice to get a new pair of boots. You didn't meet Mel's meat stick, okay? Oh, let me see here. Report that the league is looking at tear-proof equipment. Yes, they make like kind of Teflon stuff, like for neck guards. They have those out there. They're already out there. We had this discussion before where, again, the gloves we wore were like at least half the way or 2/3 the way up your forearm, because there's a lot more slashing and everything back then. Because I watch the games now and I'm amazed that more my guys don't get hurt. They get those short little gloves, and they roll up their sleeves even on the jerseys, and you can see the bare skin exposed. And you're surprised things don't happen to them more often. But again, you can't slash anything now. It's automatic penalty. So, yes, I love the cowboy. So again, the Rangers are great to us. So they had the cowboy hat in the room with the Ranger logo on it. So I had to put it on. It was about 2 sizes too small, sitting on top of my head. Like, I thought, let's just take a picture of that sucker, post that out there. Where are Murder's autographed boots? Oh, I don't know. Murder's boots. Donnie Mark, I heard he's doing really well, which is good to hear. Good guy. I talked to him one time about being on the show, and he just, again, a lot of the old stories are, his old days. Somebody he isn't now. He's a whole different person now. So he really did want. I don't blame him one bit. He really just would rather be who he is now, and not rehash all the old stuff. Especially he and Gresh were together during those days. So it's logical that you would talk about those old stories, but he just didn't want to go back there. And like I said, he sounded great. I respected his wishes and totally agreed with him. There's no use going back and rehashing all that old stuff. Yeah. The look on his face of Vander Kane's and the players on the bench too, as he's skating by, they're just like, shocked. Because that's a gruesome thing. You're right with Malarchuk. That's a hard video to watch. It's once you see that video, you can't unsee it. And that was gruesome. And I mean, I agree with you. That was one of the scariest things. Probably, I don't think I've seen anything scarier. And I wasn't even at the game for Malarchuk. I was just watching on TV. And thank God, nowadays there's team doctors are right there, and they're really like trauma doctors. So they aren't just like a regular household doctor or whatever. They're people that deal in trauma because they have to, like there's been heart attacks, those kinds of things with Vander Kane, and they need to know what to do. They were lucky with Malarchuk that I think there was 2 doctors that jumped down on the ice that were just fans watching the game and realized that nobody there was, and I don't blame anybody back then, especially nobody knew what to do. I mean, it never happens like that, hardly ever. So the 2 doctors jumped down on the ice and saved him. It's the same thing like when I ruptured my spleen in Boston. Nobody, including myself, had ever heard of a ruptured spleen. And they really didn't know how to diagnose this. I had basically like a flu-like symptoms. Our trainer was to be a fantastic trainer, so I'm not blaming him at all. He was putting heat packs on my stomach because they thought I had the flu, and that was really just increasing the the bleeding internally. So. Gresh gets kicked out. Like it was an afternoon game, and it's kind of a funny feeling, right? Because the team's got to go. I mean, I'm going to the hospital for surgery, and the team's got to go. It's like all of a sudden you're just left there. The doctor said to me that if I had gone on the plane, I would have died on the plane. I would have bled to death internally. So everybody's just taking off, and it's not like I said, it's nobody's fault. The team's not going to stay around when I get surgery. It's just kind of funny that with the team, then of course, I was Mr. Stubborn too. They came in with the gurney, the stretcher, take me out of the rink. I know I'm walking out of here. I walked in here. I'm walking out. Dummy. Oh, that's funny stuff. Robbie kind of saved me too, because he was one. And again, not blaming the trainers at all, but Robbie, like I was on the trainers table, and I never got on the trainers table, and he was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I told him, "Oh man, my stomach." So he went and got the doctor. I think it was the team doctor for the Bruins, and the doctor came in and asked if I had this pain going up in my shoulder. Apparently, there's a vein or something that goes up there because all the bleeding puts pressure on this vein. It gives you the sharp pain in your shoulder. And he asked me about my shoulder, and I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, you're out of here." Ruptured spleen. I was like, "What?" Tom had a doctor that jumped off a covered wagon to assist him. You are so funny. Oh, Dan. You have come up with some good ones. That one is not very good, but you have come up with some good ones. But just got to work on this, okay? Just keep working. That's the thing. Keep working. I shouldn't be so negative towards you. I apologize. You know what? That was one that didn't go well, but keep going. It's the effort, okay? So I taught the kids, go up to Marquette there. Don't quit. Say yes to your life. So when you get a chance to do something, don't look at it and say, "Oh, geez, I don't know if I can do it or not." Say yes. Even if you don't complete the task at the start, continue to work at it until you get it done. So that's the same thing with Danny there with some of his jokes. They may not be very funny right now, but keep trying. And they might get funny, and they may not. But yeah, Robbie had that big moon helmet. Who was I talking to about him the other day? It was a former player. It was Randy Velichek yesterday. We did the podcast. Robbie was one of the most respected guys, totally disciplined. For him, if he had like an M&M, that would be breaking his. It'd be a big thing for him, like breaking his diet. But he was good, great guy. I played with him in New York, and a totally class guy. He wasn't the kind of guy who'd go out and sit at the bar, drink with the boys, or whatever. But he would always be there. He made sure he was a team guy, but totally, like I said, the most disciplined man I've seen. I've learned a lot from him. It's one of those things you look back later on, and some of his influences, and the level of discipline that he lived his life with, in all areas of life too. He was very true to himself. He knew, especially when he got to LA and Wayne was there, that those two are different guys. Robbie survived up being totally disciplined. Work ethic, all that. Not that Wayne didn't work hard, but he was that free flowing, stay out there for 3 or 4 minutes sometimes because, he was trying to get something done for the team. He wasn't doing it selfishly. And that wasn't Robbie. Robbie was the 45-second shifts and you're off. Didn't matter who you were. And I remember having a conversation with Robbie one time, and I can't remember come up. He just basically said, "Listen, coaches are always going to get fired. So you know that. So you might as well coach your way. Don't change to try to save your job. Coach the way you coach, be honest with you." And, I think the same thing. I bet you if you talk to Wayne would probably say that he respected him as well. It just was not a good mix between the two of them. And I've told the story too about the time in Detroit where Robbie benched Wayne for being undisciplined on the ice. And it was one of the few times, and again, Wayne really went out of his way to try to not do it in front of the team, but he pulled Robbie aside. We could hear in another locker room. And he said to Wayne, or he said to Robbie, he says, 20,000 people came to watch me play hockey. They didn't come here to watch you coach. And it was one of my famous lines I can remember. And it's true. It all was true. But the story goes, and I didn't realize it until after, that Mr. McNall, that owned the team, was going to come in and fire Robbie right away. Wayne did not want that. In fact, told Mr. McNall, "Please don't do that, because then it looks like I've got Robbie fired, and that just ruins the team." Because there was guys like me and we understood, like Wayne was fantastic. So, we understood what was going on. But Robbie was great for me as a player. It wasn't great for Wayne as a player because it's just different styles. So, and Wayne was really respectful of that. He didn't do something to make me happy or someone else happy, but he just knew that would just hurt the team. So he didn't want to do anything that hurt the team. So he asked Mr. McNall to not do it. I think they fired him that summer, but it wasn't going to be a mix. It just, the two of them worked together. So, let me see. Robert Vittore's a nice guy. He used to stand around and talk to the fans. He didn't sign a T and L like Laidlaw and walk away. Jeez, Danny. Oh, man. I don't think that's funny or even. That's just like plain mean, viciousness. Lundqvist is eligible for Hall of Fame too. I think he gets in on the first try. Susan says, with no question, Should be, no question. Yeah, I think his whole body of work, again, remember, and sometimes I forget this as well, that isn't just the NHL Hall of Fame. This is for Olympic hockey or, world hockey, world championships, whatever it is. And he's one of the questions people will bring up, and I don't think it really matters. He did not win a Stanley Cup, but he won gold medal. I think he won a couple of gold medals with Sweden. And his body of work as a player for a long period of time, like his consistency, yeah, I would think he'd be a first ballot. I don't think there's any question about that. Again, you would have loved to see him win a cup, but to me, I mean, I didn't win a cup either. It doesn't mean that I look at my career as any less because I didn't win a cup. I mean, it'd be nice, but did not happen. Let me see what we got here. Jeff Hansen. That's not the Jeff Hansen I used to play with, is it? Corey Crawford's eligible too. He didn't get the hype Lundqvist did, but has similar stats and 2 cups. Corey Crawford. Yeah, Corey Crawford. That's a great point there. He's one of those guys that even myself, I look at it, I go, I just don't view him as being this great player. But then you look at his career and you look at the Stanley Cups that he won and how important he was to the Blackhawks. Yeah, you think, well, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. But again, it is weird. I think a lot of people think this too. It's not fair to him, but for some reason, it's just he doesn't stand out to you guys. While you hear his name, you go, "Wow, he's a great player." You go, "He's a good player," but his body of work and looking back at his career probably says, he's a lot better than what we're giving him credit for. So, you see, yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. True in hockey, true in life. Absolutely. Good point, Danny. You're a wise man. Excuse me. Very true. And I've learned that more and more because I've done things in the past where I missed out on things in the past because I just I don't know if I can do that or not. Then you're worried because everybody else is, and it's the truth. I can say this openly that I was more worried about what other people would feel or what they'd say about me or, think about me if I didn't get it done right away. Like if I tried and didn't do it. And careful, I don't say fail because to me, you don't fail until you quit trying. Right. So if you're trying to do something, it doesn't work the first time. Again, people are going to criticize you no matter what you do, right? Everybody's going to have opinions about face to face, behind your back, whatever. So you might as well do the things you want to do. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody else or being rude to anybody else or putting yourself in danger. If there's an opportunity to go up, like this past, when they had me dancing with Dancing Larry, I never would have done that before. But when they asked me, it's like, yeah, like now I've changed my life around and I'm going to try everything. It doesn't matter if I can dance or not. I could care less what 18,000 people feel. And it felt so good to do it. And I've realized too, if you're going to do some things, put 100% into it. If you're going to try it, don't go halfway. So, what if I don't get it done properly? Well, I already knew I couldn't dance. That's a given. So I'm just going to go all out. And I remember I've told the story too with this Taylor, this really nice young woman that works for the Rangers. So she filmed it with my phone, and she was dying laughing. And I got done. I went to her. I said, "I just suck at dancing." Don't you? Yeah, you do. But you were great because you're into it so much. And I just think that's the biggest thing with life. Is you go ahead and try things. Don't say no because you're not sure whether you can do it or not. And knowing full well that you may not complete that task right away, but just keep on trying at it. Don't quit. Keep going at it and learn something new every time you try it. And it doesn't work, and get better and better at it. So, no, I agree there, Mr. Erickson. Let me see here. What do we got? Doug Vito, you magical creature, you. What was the craziest and scariest guy you ever played with or played against? There's some scary guys. I mean, Dave Semenko. I'd say Gillies. I'd say Gillies because he was such a good player. He seemed like, it's funny. I stand beside him now, and he's not a whole lot bigger than me, but for some reason, he looked like a monster out there. Because the Ranger Islanders, like he hated the Rangers. Well, I mean, it was just more hatred between the Rangers. I don't know if hatred's the right word. It's just, you respected them and they respected us. But it's the Ranger rivalry. So it's like he was going to even be more scary against us than he would be against other teams. So I'd have to put him there. I mean, if I was playing in Calgary and have to play against Dave Semenko all the time, I may put him. He's in that category for sure. But I would put. And obviously we lost Clark, and I think you guys know he's been on the show with us a few times before he passed away. Just a great guy too. We actually became pretty decent friends, not like some of the other friends he's had for many years. But excuse me. Didn't think the Gillies belonged, but think about it. He was a general manager's dream. Every team. Oh yeah, he was everything. He could play the game. he's an intimidating guy. Just being out there, he didn't have to say anything really, And he'd do things like the time he got in the fight with Eddie Hospital, like that reputation of his. Just he's that big, tough, strong guy, can skate. Had the attitude. We always stick up for his teammates. If anything, you were happy that he wasn't even meaner. Like he just, he's just a sweetheart of a guy, and really didn't. I don't think he really enjoyed being the guy fighting all the time, but knew that was part of his job. And they wouldn't have won the cups. He's one of those guys on the Islander teams. They would not have won those cups if it wasn't for him. I mean, there's a few guys like that, but he's certainly one of them. Doug Yuskevich. Oh, it's Donna. I'm sorry, Donna. I see you there. That's the woman. You got the tattoo on the leg, don't you? I know that's you. Yes, good job. They upgraded my seat at last game. I had to be on the Jumbotron and wear those. Oh, cool. Taking care of that goblet. I was mortified, but did it. Good job. Nice. I think of you dancing there. That's cool. Thanks, John. That's cool. Actually, I'm glad you did that. Yeah, you come to realize after a while, again, people are going to judge you no matter what you do. So if you step out and do something different than everybody else is doing, everybody's probably more jealous, right? They're thinking, I wish I had the courage to do what Donna did, right? I think that's the biggest thing to get past. I remember when I got done playing and I got in the agent business, and, I was still in that mode, for years, the beer drinking hockey player guy. And, so I'd start getting clients and they started calling me at night and, having 5, 6, 7, 8 beers, whatever it is. And I'd wake up in the morning and go, wow, did I remember all the conversations? Was I stuttering my words? Whatever it was, it really scared me. And one of my biggest concerns, so I quit drinking for 5 years. And one of my biggest concerns was, what were other people going to think of me that I didn't drink anymore? It's weird looking back at it now. Like, first of all, why would I care? And why would they care? Nobody cared at all. They were drinking beer and I wasn't. They could care less that I wasn't drinking beer. But it's weird the way my mind worked, worrying about what other people thought. I think that's one of the biggest things that, if you make yourself stronger, get out of your comfort zone, all these things, that you really become, you start to love yourself more and just say, listen, I'm not going to try to do things differently just to be different, but I'm going to do what I want to do. And I really, again, it's not like I don't care what everybody else thinks. It's not like that, cocky attitude. It's just you don't concern yourself with other people's thoughts of you. You concern yourself. So you look in the mirror and say, are you happy with what you see? So yeah, totally. Good job, Donna. Get up there. I wish I'd seen that too. So they had the gold glasses, cape, carry the goblet. You're mortified. That's cool. Good job. Proud of you. Seriously. We should all try to do that. Get some adventures going. Let me see. Danny's here. I like hearing this stuff. I sung a U2 song at my wedding. Couldn't believe that I did it. It was real high. That's classic. Good job. I like hearing those stories. Maybe we got more stories. Let's throw those out there. I think that's fantastic. We do stuff like that where you look back at it and you think, wow, I can't believe I did that, right? Small little things, big things, whatever it is. Yeah. Larry Melnick looks in the mirror and loves what he sees. Well, as long as his wife's standing behind him or beside him. Yeah, and when I say love yourself, there's a difference between loving yourself and being arrogant, right? It isn't about, like I think when arrogance is more like you're putting on a show for somebody else, like trying to, show off in front of somebody else, acting big time. See, loving yourself is different. It's just being happy with who you are, and loving who you are, and just saying, this is it. I'm going to get better every day. I'm not perfect. Nobody will ever be perfect, and that's not the goal to be perfect. It's just to get better every day and really look in the mirror and go, yeah, I love myself. Yeah. I think it's important for everybody to do that and really believe it too. But you got to put the work in too. You can't just stand there and say, like, I love myself. It's got to be like working on yourself mentally and physically. Again, you don't have to be some, fitness freak or whatever. It's just taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. Same thing. If you want to be healthy physically, you get exercise, you put good foods in your body. Same thing with your mind. If you want a healthy mind, get the negativity out of your world, get the negative people out of your world. Say, all positive things. Don't say negative stuff about yourself. Right. I never say, pretty good for an old man. I don't use those words. I don't say can't. I don't say, I'm tired. It's all positive stuff. I tell you, I really believe in that. It's just you feed positive thoughts into your mind. You'll be much better off. Let me see. Wally Thacker. Hey, Wally, what do you got here? I sang It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere one night at a bar with Ron and Rob Thacker. Oh, did you? That's classic. That's actually Wally. Good job. I like that. Oh, I know. So that is funny. I especially something that you don't think you're really good at. It doesn't have to be that way. You could be good at it, but I just think it's even better when it's something you're not very good at. You just go ahead and do it anyways, right? Yeah. Yes, a lot of fun. David, how are you? David Cregliano. Carigliano. Did I say that right? Carigliano. Yes, that's right. I know it is. Carigliano. Come on, Susan, you're Lorraine. You guys must have done something sometime. It's just like, we got Graham Nicholson would be a great guest. He's a veterinarian in Canada. Graham Nicholson. Was that the guy? Is he a motivational speaker? Is that the guy? Is he a veterinarian too? I'm thinking of somebody different. Canada. You got a veterinarian on? Or we want to talk about animals? What? Why would I have a veterinarian on, Danny? Maybe your wife's in the room. You try to act intelligent right now. Tina's there. Tina's in the room with Danny. Danny's trying to act intelligent. Isn't working. What, Lorraine? What have you done? Come on, Lorraine. You must have done something. Come on, let's go. I like hearing those stories. People do things, and it's funny how you look back and you're kind of proud of it too, right? Like, yeah, I did that. Right? Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. I did it. Singing 5 o'clock somewhere in the bar with Ron and Rob Flockhart. Oh, very cool. Good job, Wally. I wonder if you know those guys are just their friends or just met them in the bar one night. Very cool. So I haven't heard from Mel yet whether we'll have the show or not. I'll be on the show tomorrow for sure at 2 o'clock. I'm not sure if Mel will be on or not. Too many of those things. Is that right, Lorraine? Come on, give us one story. Come on. One story. Susan, where are you? You're hiding right now. It has to be something you've done. So I did tell you the last event I was at that Susan attended, Susan Brooks, totally snubbed me. She wanted to talk to Darren Langdon more than me. It was awful. Like I didn't sleep for days after that. The shock, the horror, being treated like that by Susan. But that's the way it goes. Shooka-bunga boonga. Let me see. He's the guy who played briefly with the Rangers. You had to have known him or has seen. Danny, God. We've got CTE for sure. There's no question. Yeah. Graham. Well, he actually played for the Rangers. I'm sorry, I don't know that. That's terrible. I guess I should know every player that's played in the National Hockey League. Let me see. CT Sutherland. Where's Gresh been? You know what? That's a great question. Busy, I guess. I really don't know. Yes, I retired before Langdon started. Actually, I was Darren Langdon's agent when he played. He was playing in the East Coast League someplace, Fort Wayne, I think it was. And I knew the coach there, Claude Noel. I had a pretty good relationship with him. And Larry Plow was with the Rangers, assistant GM. They wanted to have a tough guy to play in Binghamton, so they were going to sign him. So Claude Noel said, would you do the contract for him? Yeah, I don't know the kid like that, but sure, I did the contract, got to meet him. And then Larry Plow, in a conversation with him, goes, this guy can play. He's a pretty good player. So I went and saw him play and everything. And he got called up by the Rangers. And yeah, he had a great career for a guy that, man, he could fight. I know there's other great guys like Bob Proberts and Clark Gilly who talk about George McPhee's one of the toughest guys pound for pound I've ever seen. But as far as like skill, like the tactics of fighting, man, he's a decent sized guy, but he fought some big men. And he just, like the ability he had, like he was a second half fighter, like he'd let the guy get tired. He said to me one time he was fighting Probert and he could hear Probert starting to breathe heavy because he's punching him so much. I don't know if that's what I'd be thinking, like his Probert's beating you on the back of the head. But he'd let him get tired and then he starts wailing at him and he's smart, man. He's a good fighter. I mean, I've seen him fight Stu Grimson a few times where you tell the Grimson was just getting totally frustrated because Darren would tire him up and get punches in and he's good. Oh, okay, Wally. So you're good friends with Flock. You golf with Malcolm. All right, cool. Good job. Nice to meet you. Yeah, he was tougher. Yeah, I'm assuming you mean Darren Langdon. Yeah, totally. But once he got around the league, everybody got the reputation. They knew, wow, he could fight. So if you're going to fight him, don't think that, like, he wasn't the biggest guy. He wasn't the strongest guy. Man, he's a good fighter. Yes, I was his agent. Yes. For his whole career, yeah. He was good client. Like, he's that just hardworking guy, low maintenance. Yeah. Let me see. Nicholson was a defenseman. He played briefly for the Rangers around 1882. Wow. I was here then too. Wow, that's awful. I couldn't remember. I apologize to him. I can't remember. I usually remember most of the guys I played with. But okay. This situation. So people who don't know, I had to be reminded of it. I've heard the story before, but he had, I think when he was like 14 years old, had abused, and some of the stuff was kind of gruesome too. A young autistic boy. Apparently, he's a young autistic black boy. He'd abused him in school. I think he was all in school, and it came out, and I think he was charged. I can't remember all the details. He was charged, but anyways, it got public. I mean, that stuff he did, and stuff he did was just awful. And he had been drafted by Arizona. Arizona, once they found out about everything, released him. Said we don't want him. So he was an unrestricted free agent, could sign anywhere. So Boston signed him. And as soon as they signed him, Gary Bettman, head of the National Hockey League, said, "Listen, he's not playing. He's spending. I don't know if he'll ever play in the National Hockey League." And that was the right thing for Mr. Bettman to do. I agree with that stance totally. The thing I didn't like was I don't know all the details again, but it doesn't appear that either he or his parents or his agent or anybody has gone out of the way to make a difference and say, "Listen, what I did was totally wrong. What my son did was totally wrong. What my client did was totally wrong. There's no excuse for it. Age doesn't matter. What you did, the stuff was terrible." And it can't just be like a public apology for his own sake to make himself look better. It's got to be like really make a difference. Like go to the boy and his family, and it's more to to help them. It can't be about him apologizing just so he can get the National Hockey League. Go through the process of just apologizing to get the National Hockey League. That doesn't do anybody any good. Doesn't do Mitch Miller any good because he certainly hasn't learned any lessons. If it does that, that's again what I see from a distance. Again, maybe he has done more that I don't know about, and even like start like have a foundation, do something, give back to the autistic community. I can help people. You've made a terrible mistake. You just don't do it to any human being, especially you don't do it to a person that is autistic. It's ridiculous. So they, in fact, a few of the players, Nick Foligno, I think it was, Patrice Bergeron, some other guys came out publicly and said, he's not playing on our team. And I'd be the same way. There's no way I'd be in the locker room with a guy that did stuff like that. I mean, there's some bad things to do, but to purposely say, and again, it happened over and over. And I don't care how old you are. I just don't. I mean, the parents, like, you raised a kid that, I know kids make mistakes, but man, that's nasty stuff. So yeah, I don't know why Boston went ahead and signed him. Again, I look at the Boston organization that they built, excuse me, a real culture there. Patrice Bergeron is one of the guys that built that culture there. And the culture seems to be like, listen, you're going to come to play here at the Boston Bruins. There's a certain way we do things. It's about winning. It's about, doing it the right way. I mean, I know that Brad Marchand does some crazy stuff. He's gotten away from a lot of that now, but for the most part, Zdeno Chara, Patrice Bergeron, those guys, like I was so impressed by Zdeno Chara when he came out. He was asked about rookies on the team and about the hazing and everything. He said, "No, if you're on this team, you're on this team. It doesn't matter if it's your first year, it's your 10th year. Now, you as a young player need to have respect for the older players, but there's no hazing. You're not going to get treated any differently. But you need to understand that you are a young player and you need to respect the older guys." So yeah, I was surprised by that. That's no place. And I'm glad the players stuck up or stood up and said that they didn't want him in the locker room. Because I'd be like, to be in the locker room with a guy that did that kind of stuff, we'd kill him. It just seriously, like in practice, it'd be hell for him. I have no problem saying it. I want to make it so bad for the kid that he wouldn't play anymore. And it's not, there's nothing, like that kind of stuff. Picking on another young boy, an autistic boy, and doing it over and over with some of the stuff he did. It's like, well, hey, no, not happening. Not happening. Did you ever throw off a glove against a guy that you said to yourself, "What the hell am I doing?" Yeah, I guess I had a good scrap against Marty McSorley. That was early in his career, so he hadn't built the reputation yet. So when I was fighting him, it really wasn't that as much. Once we got fighting, I started off pretty good. Like first half of the fight, I did well. And then Marty would never quit. And he came back and started getting me a little bit too. But it was more like later on, I'm thinking, oh, geez, I didn't realize who he was. And it was funny too. I've told this many times, and total respect to Marty. He could not play when he first started. He was a terrible skater. Like to see him play in the NHL, I was like, this guy can't play. But he had a huge heart, and he knew for him to stay in the NHL, he had to fight everybody all the time, every night. He was getting in a fight early, and then he made himself into a player. By the time I played with him in LA, he was a legitimate good hockey player. So now he knew I would fight him. So every time we played against him, he'd be coming over and go, "Let us go." Like he needed to fight somebody. He knew I'd fought him before, so he figured to do it again. I finally said to him one time, "Listen, I'm not keeping you in the league. That's it. I'm not fighting you." So yeah, but he was. I total respect for Marty, because again, really, he could not play in the NHL. If he didn't fight, he wouldn't play in the minors. Even he just couldn't play. But he really made himself into a player. Fought, and you know what? Even when he made himself into a player, he continued to fight. Sometimes guys will make themselves into a player, then the fighting will slow down. He never did. He just kept on fighting and doing everything. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know all the details of this too. I don't. Again, was it done privately? I don't know all those details, but yeah, if somebody else had known about it, they certainly should have stepped in. Yeah, no question. Let me see here. Well, who do we have? Who do we have here? Why the hell are you by yourself again? Okay, that should be a question mark. I don't know why you get that space between the period and the again. Period should be there anyways. Why are you wearing gray? So, okay, it must have been a hurry to, or maybe he's been watching the show for the past hour and he just finally got that printed out there. Kevin Allen, who normally is on the show, his friend died. Mel. Okay, so don't make any funny jokes or anything. Are you going to be? Oh, yeah, that's right. Are you going to be on the show tomorrow? Answer down, please. Larry Melnick, Jessica Danahy, and several other people would like to know if you're going to be on the show tomorrow. And if you do say yes, that means you have to be on the show. You can't do one of your disappearing acts. Okay. All right. A couple more questions here. Who worked harder, McSorley or Fortillo? Well, that's a good one. Both of those guys. I would say, well, when I saw Nick, it was later on in his career when I saw him. So I would think he would have been a better skater to start with than Marty was. And again, when I talk about Marty skate, I mean this is a compliment to him because he made himself into a player. And he was, Marty was lucky he played with Larry Melnick in Edmonton, so that was a real thrill for him. So, sure, that's probably one of those things. Larry, Band of Brothers, you should watch it sometime. Okay. Let me see. I roomed with Marty when he was in Halifax for the Oilers farm team. They had been playing forward. He couldn't skate. Lived with him for about a month, and then he got called up, and the rest is history. Yes. See, Larry and I are on, like most of the times we're on the same page. We agree with things. Sometimes he'll go off and do the wrong thing and not be on the same page as me. But that's. Are you going to be on the show tomorrow? People want to know, Larry. Like you're holding off. Like the show's almost over here. I'm going to sign off here in a few minutes, and we'd like to get an answer before I stop the show. Okay. Yeah, there's 1 minute and 6 seconds, so probably in about like 5 minutes we're going to shut the show. The people, the masses, would like to know. The masses. You'll see he's avoiding here now. He's writing answers to other questions, other comments. So he's not answering whether he's going to be on the show tomorrow or not. Not good. But this is the pattern now with Larry. Like Larry wants people like to beg him, like he'll wait till the last minute to get on the show, beg him to get on. Tom is still on. Holy smokes. I wonder where that saying came from. People say, holy smokes. Holy smokes. Like it's holy. Huh. Maybe Larry will have the answer and come on the show tomorrow. But we are never wrong. Nay, nay, nay. That's the Larry Melnick thing. I love that. He does the nay, nay, nay. Gets that finger going. Nay, nay, nay. Or it's nay, nay, nay. Oh, here comes the bad news. No, I will not be on the show. I might make a Christmas appearance in a Caesar. Remember last year I think it was Christmas. We had the Caesars going, and Larry had his celery dysfunction. He didn't give it the Viagra. His celery was bent over. He couldn't keep his celery up. I've never seen it before. It's like a floppy celery stick. I don't know if that was indicative of Larry, but he had celery dysfunction. Put some Viagra there in his drink. Get celery sticking up. All right, everybody. Great show. So again, we'll have some fun at Larry's expense tomorrow because he will not be on the show. I don't know why. I don't know why. I didn't want to ask why. Larry was hammered that Christmas show. Limp celery. Yep. Celery dysfunction. All right, everybody. Have a great day. What is today? Wednesday. So tomorrow, again, Ron Greshner and I will be in Edison, New Jersey at a Verizon store. I'll get the details and have somebody there who wants to stop by. So we will not have the 10 o'clock show in the morning with Rich Gabberty, but I will be on at 10 o'clock, probably by myself again. We'll talk about Larry and talk about why he's not on the show, if there's really a reason. All right, everybody, have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.